me!
Oka, you must leave this land and go far away where nobody will see you. Go now!
On a dark road outside the kingdom, a palace guard raised his sword to kill a young maid. The order had come directly from the queen, but just as the guard stepped forward, he froze. Because the girl he was supposed to kill was the same servant who had once saved the king's life. So why did the queen want her dead? Long before the tragedy that shook the palace, the maid, whose name was Amara, had been known throughout the royal household as the most hard-working servant in the palace. Amara had entered the palace when she was very young, after losing her parents during a terrible flood that destroyed her village. The king had taken pity on her and allowed her to work in the palace kitchens. From that day, Amara served with unmatched dedication. She woke before the first rooster crowed. She cleaned the palace floors until they shone like polished mirrors. She attended to the queen's chambers and the king's royal hall without complaint. And slowly, the entire palace began to notice her kindness. Even the king himself. King Ezeobina was a ruler known for wisdom and generosity. He often observed the servants quietly as they walked, believing that the true character of a person was seen when no one important was watching. One morning, while passing through the palace courtyard,
Bless you, child.
the
My
king
old
saw
arms
Amara
can't
helping
manage.
an
It's no
elderly
trouble. I'll
servant
carry
who
it to your
had dropped
house.
a
Thank you.
heavy basket of fruits. Instead of walking away like the others, Amara gathered every fruit and even carried the basket to the woman's quarters. The king smiled. From that day forward, he began rewarding her kindness. Sometimes he gave her small coins, sometimes fine clothing. On one occasion, he even gifted her a small piece of land near the village market. To the king, these gifts were simple rewards for loyalty. But to someone else in the palace, they were something far more dangerous. The queen began to notice. Queen Adana was admired for her beauty, but deep within her heart lived a dangerous shadow: jealousy. At first, she ignored the king's generosity toward the maid, but whispers soon began to circulate among the palace servants. Why does the king favor the maid so much? Why does he reward her more than the other servants? Those whispers slowly reached the queen's ears, and like poison, they began to grow. The queen started watching Amara closely. Every time the king spoke kindly to her, every time he praised her work, every time he rewarded her effort, the queen's anger deepened. Soon she convinced herself of something that was not true. She believed the maid was trying to take her place. One evening, after the king had left the palace for a meeting with village elders, the queen called Amara into her chamber. Amara entered respectfully and knelt.
My queen.
"My queen,"
You
she said
have
softly.
served long enough in
The
this
queen
palace.
looked at her with cold eyes.
My queen.
You have
You
served
have
long
served
enough,
long
in,
enough
this
in this
palace.
palace.
My
Amara's
queen,
heart trembled.
Have I offended you?
"My queen,
You have
Have I
offended the
offended you?
throne itself.
The queen stood up slowly.
You will leave
You
this
have
palace
offended
tonight.
the throne
You are no longer
itself.
welcome here.
Amara was confused. She
You
had
will
done
leave
nothing
this
wrong.
palace tonight. You
But
are
the
no
queen
longer
continued.
welcome here.
You will leave this palace tonight. You are no longer welcome here. Amara's eyes filled with tears. The palace was the only home she had ever known. Still, she bowed her head and obeyed. That same night, Amara packed the few belongings she owned and walked toward the palace gate. But the queen's jealousy had not ended there. After Amara left, the queen secretly summoned one of the palace guards. His name was Odogu. The queen's voice was cold when she spoke. "You will follow the girl."
You will follow the girl.
she ordered.
When you reach the forest
Odogu
road outside
listened
the village,
carefully.
you must make sure
When
she
you
never
reach the
returns.
forest road outside the village,
queen,
you must make
you
sure
mean-
she never
Do not
returns.
question me.
The guard froze. My queen,
queen,
you mean
Do not
question
question
me, she snapped. Odogu bowed, but his heart was heavy. He had been a guard for many years, sworn to protect the kingdom, not murder an innocent girl. Still, disobeying the queen could cost him his life. So he followed Amara into the night. The moon was high when he finally caught up with her on the lonely forest road. Amara heard footsteps behind her and turned. "Guard Odogu?" she asked. He stepped forward slowly. His hand rested on the sword at his
Guard Odogu?
side.
Why are you following
me? For a moment, the guard said nothing.
Guard
Then he
Odogu,
spoke.
why are you following
"Queen
me?
ordered me to kill you." Amara's breath stopped.
The queen ordered me to
But
kill you.
"I have
But
done
I have
nothing
done
wrong,"
nothing
she
wrong.
whispered. The guard knew that was true. He could see the fear in her eyes. He could see the innocence in her trembling voice. At that moment, Odogu made a decision that would change everything. "Run," he told her quietly. Amara stared in shock. "Leave this kingdom and
Run,
never
leave this
return."
kingdom and never return.
Tears ran down her face. She thanked him and disappeared into the darkness of the forest. But fate had its own plans. 3 days later, disaster struck the palace. The king suddenly fell violently ill. No healer in the kingdom could cure him. The palace priests sought answers. After consulting the ancestral shrine, they revealed something shocking. "The king's illness is not natural," the chief priest declared. "A great injustice has been committed within the palace
The
walls."
king's illness is not natural.
Fear
A
spread
great
throughout the
injustice
court.
has been committed within the
Finally,
palace walls.
the truth began to surface. One of the palace servants overheard the queen's secret order to the guard. Soon, the entire kingdom learned what had happened. The king, weak but conscious, summoned the queen. "Did you order the death of an innocent servant?" he asked. The queen could not deny it.
Did you order the
Shame
death of
filled
an
the
innocent
palace.
servant?
The king ordered that Amara be found. Weeks later, travelers discovered her in a neighboring village where she had been helping the sick and poor. She was brought back to the kingdom. When she entered the palace again, something extraordinary happened. The king's illness suddenly began to disappear. The chief priest explained the reason. "The gods punish injustice," he said, "but they also reward mercy." The king then made a decision that shocked everyone. The queen was stripped of her royal title and sent away from the palace to live in exile. And the maid who had once been hunted on the road was given a new position. Amara became the keeper of the royal household, responsible for overseeing the palace servants and caring for the people of the kingdom. From that day forward, the people remembered her not as a servant, but as the woman whose kindness defeated jealousy. And so the kingdom learned a lesson that would never be forgotten. Jealousy may try to destroy the innocent, but truth always finds its way back to the light. But tell me, if the guard had followed the queen's order that night, would the kingdom ever discover the truth?
Share your thoughts in the comment section. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share for more interesting stories like this. Bye.